Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with a brand new knife for you. This is the Steel Will Sargas. It's not even out on their site yet at the time that I'm doing this, so all the stats I'm giving you, I measured them all myself and all that stuff. I usually try and do that anyway, but this time I had to. Guessing it's going to be about $60. That's what Steel Will D2 Blade G10 knives, which this is, Chinese made. That's what they usually go for, so that's what I'm guessing. Really cool new design. They asked me if I wanted one. They sent it to me. I had never seen a picture of it or anything until I opened the box. They just sent me some color choices. Chose the red with the black blade. I don't remember what all the other ones are off the top of my head, but it is going to be available in several different colorways, as is the usual now with Steel Will and these new D2 G10 liner lock knives that they are pumping out a lot of this year. But most of the designs are pretty cool. But as soon as I opened it, first thing that appealed to me about it visually is the blade. I love this kind of just Bowie style blade. It looks fantastic. I like the curve of the handle and everything. It looks kind of almost, I don't know, a throwback, I guess, maybe, is the way I describe it. It just in the overall shape, if you just looked at the silhouette of it, very, very cool. And the same quality that I've been talking about with, you guys know, I've done a lot of Steel Will reviews the last few months because they've been coming out with a lot of them, and they send them to me. So yeah, provided by the manufacturer. Give that out of the way. Yeah, I just love the look of it. I think it's really cool. I like the pattern on the G10. I really like this red color. I don't know how it's coming across on camera. I think it's coming across a bit more orangey on the camera, but it isn't. It's actually just a pure, like, Ferrari red. Very, very nice. And standoffs instead of a backspacer. I like the little lanyard pin instead of having a lanyard hole. I think that's great. Because I don't like lanyards, so you get that. I like that the clip is also black wash. I think that's really cool. Pivot looks nice. Just lots of little really nice touches on it. If I have anything to complain about looks or quality-wise, there's a fair amount of T6s here. I wish everything was T8, but not everybody does that, and I guess I can forgive it. But it would be nice if it was if everything was T8. All right. Let's do some specs and some size comparisons before we get too much farther here. We have a blade length of 3.5 inches, overall length of 7.8 inches, blade thickness of 0.14 inches, handle thickness of 0.54 inches, and a weight of, I didn't do it, so we're gonna do it live. We're doing it live. This is always the worst thing to do live because it takes a second for my scale to boot up. There we go. 4.3 ounces. Not bad at all. I knew it didn't feel bad at all, but yeah, not too shabby, I have to say. Let's do some size comparisons. We're going to do a fair amount of size comparisons here, so if you guys want to skip past this, but it's because it's a new one, so and nobody's seen it yet. So let's we got your Spyderco Para 3. And the Parrot Military 2, you can see it's kind of sort of between them. This is packaged very well. They're cramming quite a lot of blade length into a pretty small handle, so I have to applaud them for that. Because hey, look, it's barely longer than the Para 3, but it's got a 1/2 inch longer blade. That's pretty impressive. And we will do some new ones. I think I'm going to try to make standards again. I used to use them as standards, but I didn't. Now I have cooler ones. So this is your Kershaw Bare Knuckle and the Kershaw Knockout. Again, you can see it's a little shorter than both of those, but pretty similar in blade length. So actually, it's about the same length as the Knockout. It's just a lot slimmer. A lot of things are a lot slimmer than the Knockout. It's a tall knife. And lastly, we'll compare it to a brand that Steel Will is, whether they intend to or not, it feels like they're kind of going after Civivi. So we will do the Civivi Backlash and the Civivi Brigand. You can see again, just a tick shorter than both of those, but usable blade length, pretty similar. All right, I think that's enough of the size comparisons. let's talk more about this knife. The blade, yeah, D2 steel. I have heard a couple complaints about Steel Will's D2. I haven't had any problems with it. I think it's fine. I've sharpened it a fair bit, not on this one because I've only had it a couple of days, but other ones that I've sharpened, it didn't seem shockingly soft or anything to me, and using it, it seems completely fine. I do really like the black wash finish on it. Yeah, I think it looks really cool. I've said that multiple times about Steel Will's black wash. Steel Will is one of the only companies that I will order the coated blade instead of the uncoated blade, just because I like it. I think it looks really cool, and it holds up really well as well. Only about 17 thousandths behind the edge. This is a blade stock, not super thin, but 14,000 or 0.14 inches. That's fine. It's not like shockingly thick or anything too. It's not like a bruiser, but it'll give you some heft. Really good tip on it. I do like that. And wicked sharp out of the box. Every Steel Will I've gotten lately it feels like it's getting sharper and sharper and sharper. I think nice sharpening choil. They missed it just slightly, but it's really close. A nice flat to grab hold of if you're using a guided system, so that's good. Yeah, no issues with the blade at all. I really like it. I love that blade shape. It's one of my favorites. It's very useful, and it just looks great. Love the blade shape on this. As far as the ergonomics go, I don't know why I closed it for this. Really good. The G10 is pretty grippy, so you don't have to worry about anything like that, but you're locked in anyway, even if it wasn't. Jimping is in just exactly the right spot. Pocket clip, can't really feel it. It's far enough back. Again, I can get all 4 fingers on there with some to spare. So if you have really big hands, you might get a touch of a hot spot with that pocket clip, but I think you'd have to have pretty big mitts for that to be an issue. It's definitely not an issue for me. And I do like the grippiness. I do just like the overall feel of it. The way it's shaped with that nice curve hits your hand excellent. And the ergonomics on this are just outstanding. Really, really, really good. I cannot complain about that a bit. As far as the carry goes, it's pretty good. I'm not going to say it's outstanding, but it's pretty good. With this nice curved handle, you don't really catch that flipper much at all with your little pinky, as you try and slide by it. So as far as that goes, it's fine once it gets in the pocket. And 4.3 ounces, it's not like, obese. It's fine. The only real little nitpick I have, and I have this nitpick about a lot of knives, and I realize this is a budget knife, but the pocket clip still lands on this textured G10. I wish it landed on a flat spot, just make a little flat disc on either side for that. It wouldn't affect the grippiness in use at all, and it would just be better. But it's not a pocket destroyer. I'm not trying to indicate that at all. It just would slide in and out a little bit easier if it had that there. If you want to do that when you buy one and you do it yourself, it'll take you 2 seconds. Wear a mask. G10's nasty stuff. But other than that, and also they put recessed pocket screws in the pocket clip, which good for you. But they didn't recess the clip itself, so it still takes up a bit. But it still is better than having a non-recessed clip with non-recessed screws. They made an effort. I should not criticize them for it. They made an effort. I just wish it was just a little bit more of an effort. That would be nice. And as you can see, they did make an effort to make it lighter. You can see it's pretty well milled out in there. So I can't complain about that. As far as the action goes, pretty good. I've had a lot of these, like I said, a lot of these Steel Will new generation G10 D2 knives that they're doing so many of lately. And the D10 on this one is a little weaker than the others, but I think it's just a question of production tolerances. I don't think it's like a design flaw or anything. And it's not horrible. It's still good. Just the others were really, really good. Like, for example, I have, this is a Steel Will Mini Lanner. It's just a lot snappier. Yeah, it would take 2 seconds to, take it apart and tweak that a little bit and make it a little better. But like I said, it's not bad. It's just kind of, it's okay. It's fine. It's just not, I can't shake it out or anything. I tried to do that. So it's not like, I'm not saying it's a weak D10. It's just not quite as snappy as the previous ones that I had, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's almost getting kind of hard to keep up with Steel Will and all these different knives they're coming out with, and I don't have a problem with that, really. I mean, they're trying to push the market just like Civivi is coming out with stuff every week. It feels like Steel Will is as well. There's a couple more coming out, I know, that I'm gonna have coming. So yeah, it's they are lining them up and knocking them down, I guess, as my mom would say. Very, very cool knife, though. This is one of my favorites they came out with this year. I think my favorite's probably still the Lanner. I really like the Lanner, especially in this mini form. It's just a great knife. But this is pretty high up there. Really, really, really nice job. $60. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit more robust than the Lanner. If you need a real good like work knife, really good knife for this. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.